Hi guys, this is your reading for Wednesday the 16th of August. Thanks for joining me. I'm using the Goddess Tarot for today's reading. I'm going to choose 3 cards to give you an insight into what you'll be working with and what the energy is all about. So let's have a look. So we have the 2 of Pentacles and we have the Ace of Pentacles and we have the 6 of Wands. Okay. So, the 2 of Pentacles in this instance is kind of represented as a never-ending cycle, and that's what the 2 of Pentacles really is. In the traditional tarot, it's a kind of juggler who's got the infinity symbol and he's holding 2 pentacles in his hand and he's constantly juggling them and he's constantly kind of dealing with the ups and downs of life and he's on top of things, but he's a juggler and sometimes he feels like a fool for having to deal with all of this, and sometimes he feels like he doesn't have a choice and he would like to put things down and just relax. And the message here today is that if you do exactly that, if you surrender, if you let go of trying to manage everything and you just let things happen naturally and organically, i.e. you get out of your own way, the Ace of Pentacles comes in, and the Ace of Pentacles is a blessing. It's a cornucopia of wealth, of abundance, of prosperity, of blessings, of physical prosperity, food, money, beauty, riches, abundance, everything good. So rather than handling everything yourself and being in your ego, trust that the universe does want good things for you. This is really a difficult thing. To trust that the universe has a good plan for you. This is something that, I don't know if you guys struggle with this sometimes, but it's something that I struggled with for a long time until I saw evidence in my life that the universe really is on my side. Because if you look at the world and you look at what's going on, you can argue that the universe does not want good things for us because of all the dreadful and awful things that happen. But the reality is, the truth is, if you get to your own inner truth and you feel that sensation, you're going to realize that you're not interested, when you get to your real higher true self, you're not interested in exploiting anyone or harming anyone or yelling at anyone out of frustration or being critical or malicious. The true you is someone who is generous and loving and kind, but like everyone else, you get stressed out with the demands of life and with the external influences, and sometimes you forget about that and you get caught up in just, plodding on and getting by and making do and just keeping things afloat. And today, it's not about just kind of, marching on and being a trooper and being stoic and saying, I can handle this, I don't need any help. Step back from that a little bit, surrender it and say, what if I don't handle this today? And just surrender it to the universe. What other blessings and opportunities and options can come into my life in terms of my prosperity and my finances? And it may be that actual finances come into your life today, or taking that step back and looking at what you're doing every day may enlighten you in terms of finding a better way that you can become abundant and not feel like you're working yourself into the ground and just doing, 60-hour weeks. It may be that the blessing is your perspective is altered and that blindfold is taken off and you realize how you can create real wealth for yourself. Either way, it's important to take that step back for, it can be a minute or two, and just ask yourself what you're doing. Ask yourself what you're handling, and rather than robotically repeating it, communicate with yourself and allow yourself the opportunity for financial and material growth. Because if you don't, and you just say, listen, I'm too busy, I need to just get on with things, I don't have time for all this airy-fairy nonsense, I deal with things, okay? I don't just sit there and wait for messages from the universe to come along, because if I did that, I'd never get anything done. But some people think that way, and that's very normal and common because most people live their lives via self-propulsion. You know, they say, I'm going to put things into my life and I'm going to make them work, and I have certain ideas and I'm going to do that. 99% of the population will do that. The better way to do it is to say, I am not in charge of my life. I'm not going to be in the driver's seat. I'm not going to just routinely keep doing everything I've always been doing. I'm going to give myself the luxury of looking at that today from an objective perspective, and you will be given something from the universe that shows you a better way of doing this. And if you don't give yourself that, you'll regret it, you'll beat yourself up, and you'll feel that there's conflict and that you've missed a chance. So you give yourself a guilt trip, and that makes total sense because people who work hard are often the ones who feel the worst about themselves. They work themselves to the bone, but they don't even recognize how hard they work or that there's any other choice. They just think that they have to, and there's no option to say no. That would never even occur to them. So take a step back, look at things, give yourself the opportunity to kind of, rise beyond all of the conflict and to purify yourself by kind of rising above it and looking at it from a higher perspective. And it's from this vantage point that you can really see what's going on, what the other people around you are doing, why you're working so hard, and how you can now get that in a way that is much simpler for you and that allows money to flow into your life rather than constantly having to battle for it and constantly feeling like you're doing the same repetitive thing over and over again, and it's unpleasant and it's full of conflict, whereas all you want is things to just naturally flow. So you need to open your eyes today. That's your actual eyes and your mind's eye to what is being presented to you, because the answer to your working life problems and financial problems comes today. And that applies to retired people as well, who may be living off a state pension but also want to increase their finances. If you have that in mind and look at it, you will also find another way of bringing a cornucopia of wealth into your life. I love the cornucopia. I love the whole story around it, this cornucopia of never-ending abundance. I think the Greeks or the Romans, they were so wonderfully aware of these spiritual laws, because the truth is you don't have to compete with anyone. There's enough for everybody. You don't have to compete. I'm someone who doesn't particularly enjoy competing because it means it's ego and you're fighting against other people, and the way I'm built, that just doesn't work for me, okay? So that's good for me, but it's a good thing that not everyone is like me, because you wouldn't have any sports figures, there wouldn't be athletics or football or something if everyone was, if people didn't go for competition, there wouldn't be any of that entertainment that people enjoy so much. It's just a personal choice. And what I'm seeing here today is that you can also make a personal change to your life and say, I'm not going to compete and fight to get to the top. Instead, I'm going to take a step back and really just listen to how I can become prosperous and abundant and rich in the way the universe wants me to be, and in a way that's liberating and free. That corset is about to drop off. She's loosened it and it's coming off. She's no longer locked in. She's free. So have a wonderful day. Number-wise, we've got 3 and 6, which is 9. That's amazing, because we had 9 on Monday, we had 9 on Tuesday, and now here on Wednesday we've got 9 again. So 9 is the vibration of spirituality and completion. You believe in yourself. You believe in your higher self, your true self. You're complete within yourself, and that's why you have this wonderful perspective now, and you can see things that before you weren't able to see. So your vision is becoming clearer, and you're able to make changes in your life that will transform it for the better. Have a wonderful day. If you'd like a private reading with me, please order your reading on my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab to get your reading. I draw up your birth chart by using your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. If you don't have the time of birth, I can use sunrise, or I can rectify your chart to find out what the time is by looking at 10 major life events. So that can be done. I also use the tarot and numerology in all my readings to give me a really in-depth overview of everything that's going on for you now, what your life purpose is, what your mission is, what's coming up in future. So order your reading if you'd like me to look at that for you. Please remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel. It's super important for me. I'd really appreciate it, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.